This is huge for the Atlanta Hawks. Finally being able to get a win, getting off of that terrible 4-game losing streak that felt like forever. Now, it wasn't a perfect Hawks win, but it was a mature one. And against a team like Memphis, maturity beats talent every time. And again, it's Chris Tipmore, and I'm with Walter Pollard, and we're going to break down everything that happened in this game for you guys because, hey, it is time to celebrate that we got a win. It feels better than being in that losing column. That's all I know.
I mean,
Welcome back to Hawks Digest. How you
yeah,
feeling, Walter?
I feel great. I mean, just depressed was the word. I mean, given the air that we put into this in the beginning of the season, the excitement we had going all the way back to the draft to free agency, we had so much excitement going into the season, and then to have a 7-game losing streak, and then after that a 4-game losing streak. I
Yeah.
can't deal with any more losing streaks. We need to get some W's, and we need to get them fast.
Hey, man, I'm with you on that. We definitely need to stay on a consistent pace, but everything takes time. And again, battling against the Memphis Grizzlies, they had came into the game, losing what 7 out of their last 10. So it was a team that you definitely wanted to get a win against. We talked about, getting the wins against teams you're supposed to beat. And I'm just glad the Atlanta Hawks were able to still, fend off those Memphis Grizzlies, man. But I know we got a few guys and a few things we want to talk about. So, man, hey, let's just get into it, man.
Now, of course, like Chris Tip always says, kick off your shoes, leave on your socks. Y'all got some stinky
Sure.
feet. But before we get into all of that, okay, this video is brought to you by Kalshi. Now, again, when you download Kalshi, using the link in the description below, okay, you use the partner code DIGESTNBA, you can get $20 when you trade your first 100. Now, again, Kalshi is the largest prediction market in the United States. On their platform, you can trade yes or no to real life events. Chris, they got sports, they got elections, they got news, they got music, pretty much anything that you could think of, okay? And whether you are in California, if you're in Texas, if you're in New York, or even if you are in Georgia, okay, across all the country, Kalshi is live in all 50 states. Now, for most of us sports fans here, we got player outcomes, we got game outcomes, playoff chances, player performances, all on a regulated market where you can cash out anytime. Chris, again, looking at the playoffs, the NFL playoffs this weekend, this is the NFC Championship. Here we are trading on the over-under as far as the first half points.
Right.
You can trade as to whether or not they're going to have over 21 points in the first. Collectively, I want to point out, collectively 21 points in the first half. Or you could trade that they're going to have a low-scoring first half. So this is definitely an opportunity for you guys to get in where you fit in. And then also, too, we're going even deeper than that, man. We're going into music. A$AP Rocky just came out with an album. So if you want to trade on whether or not A$AP is going to get, let's say, 50,000 sales, on his first week or however much, man, this is your opportunity to get in where you fit in, okay? Is really it's genuinely a smarter way for you to use your sports news knowledge, your music news knowledge, your politic news knowledge, whatever you can think of. This is the best way for you to use your knowledge. You can close on positions anytime and whenever you want. Okay, now again, just go and download Kalshi using the link in the description, and do not forget to use the partner code DIGESTNBA. You'll get $20 when you trade your first $100. Shout out to Kalshi, okay, for sponsoring this video, man. It's definitely a big thing. But Chris, going into last night, man, big game. The Hawks were able to get a win. Super excited. What are your first thoughts about just this win in general? Again, we talked about it earlier. Losing streak after losing streak is tough to really look at the positive. Trading away Trae Young, we don't have Kristaps Porzingis. All the things look bad, but thankfully they were able to get a win. What are your first thoughts, my man?
Well, I would like to say that in the beginning, it did not start off pretty. First quarter seemed like the Grizzlies were trying to run off, and it almost seemed like the Hawks didn't have their legs under them. But I tell you one thing that hasn't happened since the Atlanta Hawks traded away Trae Young, them having an opportunity to truly practice. And
Mm.
on yesterday, they was able to practice, and I do believe that practice did play a part into this game. especially like getting back to basics with Jalen Johnson. Jalen Johnson, the last 2 games, back to that, well, actually exceeding his point totals for the season of 23 points because he last 2 games, 30 points per game. But just getting back to the basics, and I wanted to see how Quin was going to be able to implement CJ because right at coming into the game, he hasn't been fitting. And me personally, I've been on him. But
I got a couple questions about that too, because I've been
I wanted to give a grain of salt. No, I wanted to give it a grain of salt. It was more so like a keep an eye on this than more so saying this is what it is. That's really kind of like what how I was approaching it. But the Atlanta Hawks, they were able to come back, and part of the reason why they was able to come back, and I got to give his shout out right now, is the way that Luke Kennard was able to navigate and been able to knock down big shots. He was 6 for 6 at pretty much at halftime, 4-4 from the 3-point line with 16 big points. Now, I know he didn't do much in the second half, but I really believe one way that the game didn't get away from the Atlanta Hawks was the shooting of Luke Kennard. Now, of course, JJ and Onyeka were doing their things too, but everybody else along the team were really coming along slowly. Even to kill Alexander Walker, who was 1 of 6 and 0 of 4 at halftime.
But I mean, going down the stretch, he had some big, big points.
Of course. But that's why I wanted to say in the first half. That's why I'm saying in the first half.
Right.
I got to give it to Luke Kennard because without his 16 points going along with JJ and Double O, fam, we might have been down by 20 points or so at halftime because we've seen it. Right. So I just want to give a quick shout out to Luke Kennard.
Again, looking at the Twitter sphere and Facebook and Reddit, all those different boards that a lot of people are talking on, I mean, they were slightly surprised that the Hawks were not down by 15 to 20 at the half. As a matter of fact, the Hawks were 66 to 59 at the half.
Right.
Given what you just told us, the fact that they had poor performances by a few of the guys, but like you said, they were able to get their sea legs under them and actually churn out some good stuff. Really, just going back to Luke Kennard, really good showing from him. Be that this is his former team, he was able to have a really good game. And again, I'm gonna let you finish cooking, but again, I got a couple of questions just in regards to seeing JJ return to his double-double, triple-double form, seeing how JJ was able to get himself together again and get back to form, but also to CJ McCollum finding his place on this team because, again, I think, paying attention to the different boards that people have been talking on, it just seems as if it's surprising a lot of fans that CJ McCollum has been getting some starter minutes or, big-time minutes, but the same production hasn't necessarily kicked out.
Well, with CJ, again, I've been on CJ. So I'm going to give him his credit for last night because he did pass the ball more. It not just in the box score, but because it was times where he was passing the ball. And it was times where I was looking, I was like, are you going to shoot that? And he would wait, turn, and pass the ball. It was a time to where he was driving, coming off of a ball screen, and he was coming down in the lane, and then he stopped kind of like right there on the wing and found the cutter that was cutting down. I believe it was Crispert or it was somebody.
Okay.
It might have been Crispert or I can't remember exactly who the player he passed it to. I just remember him passing the ball. And but yeah, so and he had 6 assists. So I do have to give him his credit. I'm like, okay, that's what I'm talking about right there.
Right.
You know, so let him get implemented into the offense. And I said it, he has to buy in, and Quin has to find a way to implement him so the offense can benefit, because the defense is going to be the defense. And we saw that last night as well. Correct. With not just him, but multiple players on the team. But regardless, still those 15 points off the bench in 26 minutes, those were big. So, hopefully, you thinking like more practice time, CJ will get more comfortable and understand what his role is on the team for the rest of the season. You think about that.
Now, again, going to JJ, you've already talked about it. The NBA All-Star list or starters have come out. Of course, still a chance for JJ to get on the All-Star team in
Oh yeah,
general.
sure. He's
But
gonna be there.
do you feel as though, with the trading away of Trae Young, and I mean we've hinted at it on this channel,
Mm.
do you feel as though going down the line, JJ is definitely going to move more so into the superstar role in this team and really take charge of the opportunity that's set in front of him?
Well, to be honest with you, it's all up to JJ because he has all the opportunity right in front of him. He has no obstacles in front of him. I believe that the coaching staff and the ownership, they realize that this is the man now. So we have to make sure that we're treating it as such. I remember talking about how CJ McCollum and Onyeka Okongwu cannot be the guys that have the most shot attempts, especially at closing time, if JJ is going to be the guy. Now, last night, I will admit, from going back and looking at it, JJ did have the most attempts in the fourth quarter with 6. So the next highest was 3 with Nikhil and CJ. I can live with that because you've seen down the stretch as well. JJ had a couple opportunities to end the game. One, he did make the turnaround fade. He did miss the second one, but still, at that particular time, I mean, yeah, you want him to make the shot, but I'm more happy that he's taking the shot.
Taking the
it's
shot
not
is
somebody else. Yeah. So I can live with the fact that he missed it. Those will be more shots down the stretch that he'll start making more and more once he understands that, and once the team understands, like, hey, give the ball to your best guy and let him go win the game. That's what we want to see Jalen Johnson do.
Now, going down the stretch, and I wanted to stop you for just a second. Going down the stretch, he did. You're right. He did. I think it was like yes. So he did make 1 3-pointer, and it did kind of go back and forth between the Hawks and Memphis. He made a 3-pointer. They had made a 3-pointer again to bring it within 1. Then I think he went back down, like you said. He hit the turnaround jumper at the free throw, made the shot. They came back down. I want to say that was when the 2 free throws were missed, and then they got the ball again, and then another set of free throws ensued.
Triple J made 1 and missed 1.
He made 1 and missed 1, and then at that point, Jalen Johnson went down, missed it. Memphis had an opportunity to come down and end the game, but unfortunately, fortunately for us, they weren't able to close out on that. I've also heard, again, from a lot of the storyboards, people suggesting that we see Jalen Johnson more out on the perimeter defense. You dig? More on the pure three position, you know what I mean? And getting him to where he can play defense out on the perimeter. Unfortunately, and I'm going to speak about this young man also, Dyson Daniels hadn't necessarily panned out like he did last year, and we'll get into reasonings about that later. But do you see that being a possibility that Jalen Johnson could be more so playing defense or being on the defensive end around the perimeter?
I mean, I can see it, but the thing about it with Jalen Johnson, Jalen has some things he has to work on as far as the defense. There's times to where he makes business decisions. And the thing about it is, okay, let me see if I can explain this the best way I can.
Talk to me like I'm a third grader. Come on, let's do it.
I wonder sometimes about Jalen Johnson's leaping ability, because I know that he can jump, but I'm wondering if JJ has that bounce. And there is a difference, because there's times to where I feel like with the leaping and jumping ability of JJ, we know he can go dunk. I'm thinking that he's going to, and I'm not talking about just the Ja Morant when he came around the corner and he elevated and dunked. I'm not just talking about that. And I'm not talking about just this particular game. I'm talking about overall with JJ. Sometimes I feel like he takes a break off or a play off, and I feel like he chooses his spots on when and where to play defense, because we've seen if JJ gets too aggressive on defense, he gets into foul trouble. So I feel like he is picking his spots. So sometimes it'd be times where you want him to go up and go make that block or go make that play as something, and he just kind of like, you know what I'm saying, kind of like he's got to tighten up on certain areas with that. The offense, I believe, is going to continue to come, and the defense will as well, but everything is in front of Jalen Johnson. Like I said, whatever player that he wants to be, he has the capability of being. It's just all depending on his work ethic and how far he's going to go moving forward. It's all on him. It's all depending on what he's going to turn into.
For sure.
You know, so I don't think at this point really there's no one that's holding him back. You know, so we're going to see really how he's going to finish this season. But I'm already more interested to seeing what JJ does this offseason and comes back and be the next season when you know it's all on you. Even if they do go get you help, you still or possibly have to be the number one guy for the Atlanta Hawks.
Right.
No matter whether people feel like you're a number one guy or not, you got to go prove the doubters wrong.
Correct.
Or right.
Right. Right. No, I'm with you. Now, we got to talk about my man Dyson. And I'd be foolish to say I didn't expect for him to have not necessarily right on the same line of last season's, production that he had, but I didn't expect for such a drop-off this season because, again, and I'll pull it up, if you see on, the stat sheet, the dude only had 3 points. Only had 3 points in the entire game, but 35 minutes. And again, he did well as far as assists. He had about 8 assists, 7 rebounds. He almost had a double-double.
Right.
No steals, unfortunately, which is, again, for us, we got used to that 1 year, that one season. But now, I didn't expect such a drop-off from Dyson Daniels. Can we explain that?
To be honest with you, now 11% from the 3-point line, I did not expect him to shoot that bad from the 3-point line. But honestly, Dyson, we talked about it this offseason. He had a golden opportunity to prove all the doubters wrong because you seen last season to where he had some offensive deficiencies that once you get on film, people are going to try to exploit the next season. So here at Hawks Digest, we've already talked about this and him having an opportunity to probably prove those doubters wrong. He's proving the doubters right right now when it comes to the 3-point line and everything, and just his offense. His offense hasn't improved. His offense has actually gone down a little bit. The defense has regressed a little bit as well. But I also credit that to just guys being able to watch film, and they get paid too. So they got to figure out how can they counter you. You can't be coming out here just, being this steals guy, just disrupting the game. We got to figure out a way to counter you. And that's the same thing that happens to any good player or any player that does something at a good rate or efficient. They're going to try to figure out how can they take you out of your game. And Dyson this year, I still feel like he's worth the contract. Just because of everything that he does as a connector, sometimes as being like that extra ball handler, as being a guard that's going and getting you 7 rebounds when you don't have anybody that's like really a big man presence.
Right.
And still facilitating the ball, 8 rebounds. Again, he still almost had a double-double, so without the points. But yeah, you do want to see the point totals and everything, of course, factor in, because being 1 for 9, if you're at least 4 of 9, that this is a larger Hawks win, just for example. But
and I think that's my only thing. And again, not to bag on Dyson, but yeah, that's the only thing that we want to justify the minutes. You got 35 minutes. You know what I mean? That's what I'm more so looking at. We want justifiable minutes because, again, that's really all we look for, is just justifiable minutes. Outside of that, it's not hard to find the positives in what Dyson Daniels does. Yeah, it's not hard to find that, but it's definitely difficult to justify the minutes that he's getting.
Bro. But again, he's a guard. Again, you're in a land where you don't have a lot of big men, so you have to have Dyson out there jumping on the boards. I just feel like that the fact that he is a threat to go get 2 or 3 steals a night, he's still that threat to do that. He's in the passing lanes. Again, like, if I can talk about so many things that he does that has nothing to do with him putting in the ball in the basket. That's the thing that if he's able to do that, and I said it before, if Dyson was able to pull that 3-point percentage up to 30%, the Hawks will start blowing teams out because it's like, okay, now he's not self-check at the 3-point line anymore.
Yeah, that
And
was the only take that I think I had from him, is that it's outside of the offense. He does a lot of other things that actually makes his offense better. That was my only takeaway from last season. So I figured there would be some type of a step forward, not a step back.
yeah, I get it, bro. And hopefully, you know, another thing too, that's going to be something he's going to have to work on continuously. I feel like really really that and just lateral movement. Those are the things you got to work on. And I'm not saying his lateral movement is bad. I'm just saying that's just something that I just feel like, you know, a defender always should work on if that's what you're good at. Um, but but still, we still had 58 points in the paint that we gave up compared to 42. Now, at one point in time in the game, the Hawks were actually leading the points in the paint. So that lets you know what the Memphis Grizzlies were doing. They were attacking the paint, the painted area, high ball screens, trying to get Ja Morant going and moving the ball. They actually started moving the ball more too, knocking down shots. That's how Memphis was able to get back into the game. But Atlanta, they did control the tempo. They did slow the game down. And it got to the point to where whoever was going to be the most efficient in a half court set, that was who was going to win the game. And Atlanta was more efficient. And of course, they made clutch shots. And Memphis missed the free throws at the end after being perfect for most of the game. It just came down to execution, who was going to be able to execute in whatever situation that it was in. And I'm not calling the Atlanta Hawks the best half court set team or anything, but Memphis does struggle in the half court sets. So that's another way that Atlanta was able to slow the game down, still get out and get the points off turnovers, because that's another thing that kept Atlanta in the game,
Right.
being able to get those fast break points and, you know, it's in the points off turnovers when other guys weren't able to really just get going in the beginning. So ultimately, man, a team win. It wasn't pretty, like I said, but it's a mature one, something that you can build off of. It was a tough win. You got your third win in a row in Memphis building like that. And you look at our last like 4 or 5 games against each other, regardless, it's been real close. So
yeah, it has. And thankfully, you know, the Hawks do come back home tomorrow night, taking on the Phoenix Suns. The first and only time they're going to be here in Atlanta. Hopefully they can get a good win in before the snow and ice starts to hit the East Coast and everybody is shelter in place. Chris, I'm sure you're all bundled up and prepared for what's to possibly come. And then, of course, after that, on Monday, on the other side of all the ice and whatnot, Hawks take on the Indiana Pacers at home as well. So, again, hopefully this is an opportunity for the Hawks to get a good win or a statement win, hopefully against the Phoenix Suns, letting everybody know that they have not fallen off, nor have they taken a seat back because of them getting rid of Trae Young. And again, they can get a good statement win versus Indiana, saying that, hey, we're going to maintain our position and hopefully move up even further.
That Suns and Hawks game too, they're doing a special Joe Johnson t-shirt giveaway as well. So for those, you know, of course he played for the Suns and the Hawks. Yep, man. ISO Joe. Remember, he came from the Suns to the Hawks.
Yes, he did.
So they're having a special t-shirt thing giveaway too. So you can get tickets and go down there and support those Atlanta Hawks. Make sure you do so and get your t-shirt, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Walter Pollard. That is Chris Tip Moore. All right. And we appreciate you all, man. And like usual, we always do it like usual, man. We're signing out. Peace.